So in this video, I'm going to show you 5 of the worst stadium modifications and features. Most of them will be features that were added after the stadium opened, and some of them were kind of built with the stadium, and I'm going to show you in detail through Google Maps here. So the first one I have here for you is Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago. I'm going to show you this upper deck concourse wall that they built in 2004, which was quite a few years after the original stadium was built, so it wasn't like this for much of its early history. And so what they did is they put this wall of transparent glass that covers the entire concourse around the upper deck, and this thing just goes around the entire stadium, and it's meant to just block out the elements like the rain and the wind, but I don't think it is like heated or keeps the heat in, so it's not like you're going to get anywhere warm particularly, and it just wraps around the entire place, and you can't, like, when you leave your seat and go on the concourse, you don't get any view of the city or a place to kind of get away. You're just in this hallway now because this wall is just here, and it looks ugly on the outside and it looks ugly on the inside. And there's a little bonus with this stadium. The exits and entrances in the upper deck, they're at the very bottom row, and you don't get that very often. Usually exits and entrances are like 5 rows up, and in this case you have to walk from the very bottom to the very top, I mean, depending on where your seat is. So that's just a little bonus for what's mostly considered a fairly low rated stadium in the MLB. The second one I have for you here is Olympic Stadium in Montreal, and the feature here is the roof. This was the first retractable roof of a stadium, and it did not work well. It was supposed to use the cables you see there to open and close the roof, and it had a lot of problems, a lot of issues, and eventually they just decided after a while to not open and close it anymore. And another big issue with this stadium, aside from it being a huge money pit, very expensive, was that this roof had a ton of leaks in it. It still does, and it's been a major disappointment. It hosted the Olympics, and then it hosted the Expos, and it lost the Expos, and it just really has been weighed down by the roof that's on top of it for the most part. The third stadium I have here is Progressive Field in Cleveland. The feature here is what people call the shipping containers that they put in the upper deck. And what happened here is in 2015, I believe, they underwent these renovations of the stadium, and a lot of the renovation was good, but this was just really bad aesthetically. What you have here is basically a bunch of concrete blocks that they put on top of the upper deck where seats used to be, and I've personally gone and stood on these, and that's all it is they're just standing platforms of concrete. There's nothing in them, there's nothing special about them, and they should have just done what the Rockies did with their stadium to get rid of seats, which was they just took out the entire structure of the seating and replaced it with like a party deck with bars and gathering areas. Instead, they just went cheap here and put these big concrete blocks basically, and they just look bad. They have the worst view in the entire stadium, and they're just an eyesore to look at. Next is the Mount Davis structure at the Oakland Coliseum in Oakland, California. This was built in 1995 to get the Raiders to come back to Oakland, and what it did was it blocked off the view here of the Oakland Hills that you see here, and basically once they built this, the view during baseball games was gone, and you were stuck staring at this giant structure that's really tall for a stadium, and you just have all these seats that you have to stare at that are tarped during baseball season and were only used for football games. It's just a bad look for baseball. Any chance that this stadium had it being a classic that was preserved was gone once this was built, and now the Raiders are gone, so it's not even really being used for anything except for probably the box seating, maybe some really high attendance games I know they've used it for. But other than that, basically a giant waste of money, and it didn't end up keeping the Raiders for long anyway. Last but not least, I have FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. And what they did here was a few years ago, they got rid of a bunch of seats in the upper deck to lower the capacity of the stadium, and it left those skeleton supports that you see there in the stadium. First, they just got rid of those, and it did look bad. But then they got rid of more by literally putting up fences, blocking off seats, and then putting tarps over the fences. So they're not just like tarped off seats there. They're fences with tarps over them covering the seats. So it's not like there's just tarps that are flat there with the seats. It's these giant, like 10-foot tall, tarped off fences with seats under them still. And it just looks really bad. And this just looks really uneven, really bad. And it's kind of sad because the stadium is only 24 years old, and it's already looking like it's going to be replaced in the not too distant future. This renovation just was totally missed the mark, and it just looks so uneven. And I don't even think they use those red tarps anymore. They use like these rainbow colored ones for the colors of FedEx, which makes it even more noticeable and just makes it look really bad. And there you have the 5. Thank you for watching.